we are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor.
Joining me now, my friend Lee Smith, author of the book you really need to dig into, Disappearing the President. Lee, it feels great having a president back in office who actually loves the country. Honestly, I hate that that's where we're at. It's like a load off. Not that Trump is perfect, far from it, but at least he loves the freaking place.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure he was joking. He may have laughed when he said that to Trudeau, but how do we know he was joking? So look, I mean, of course, we're not going to invade Canada, but that's how you stand up for Americans, saying you've been ripping us off, and then you make sure that the press covers it and make sure that everyone knows that the president-elect right now, is defending the interests of Americans and is willing to go hard on even our closest trading partners, our closest allies for years, whether that's Canada or Mexico. The president-elect is going to protect Americans. And I have to say, I mean, it's great to be back to normal like that, but I think that President-elect Trump is far ahead of where he was in 2016 at this point.
Yeah, he certainly does seem to be a lot more prepared for things. He also put something out yesterday, which I loved. He put something out online. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but threatening everybody about our hostages, which are still being held by Hamas, and just said, you better release them, and they better be released by the time I take office, or there's going to be all hell to pay. Lee, this used to be the norm. Democrat, Republican, presidents of the United States of America, they would publicly declare American citizens were safe abroad from other nations, from terrorist groups, and I don't know how we got away from that, but it sure is nice. That looks like it's coming back.
I mean, he underscored what is a tremendous scandal, which, of course, the press has buried since October 7th, 2023, but that a terror group backed by the Islamic Republic of Iran that has a history of taking Americans hostage, has a history of killing Americans, had killed Americans on October 7th, 2023, and took dozens of Americans hostage, and is still holding living Americans, and is holding the bodies of Americans. It's disgusting and repulsive. And of course, regular Americans, ordinary Americans have rightly expressed outrage at this. But finally, there's a president who reflects the feelings of normal Americans as, if you don't give us our people back, you're going to pay a very hard price.
Lee, where are we in that whole thing? It's one thing to put something out on social media, not that Trump just would blow off about such a thing, but it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to actually wrap it up. Where is Israel in wrapping all this up? Are they mired in a 10-year-long slog? Are they putting the crosses on the T's and dots on the I's? Where are they?
Well, no, I mean, one of the things, again, that we've seen here since October 8th, 2023, is that the Biden administration has deterred Israel from finishing the job. You know, Trump let on during the campaign that when he was speaking with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he said, yeah, you got to go ahead and you got to finish the job. You got to go ahead and get it wrapped up. Right. But what happened was the Biden team, withholding munitions from Israel, they slowed them down. They wanted to let Hamas survive. And you've seen that this ceasefire deal between Israel and, they say, Lebanon, but Hezbollah is Lebanon. So a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has also let another Iranian proxy off the hook. That's not where Donald Trump is. So presumably the idea is, and again, remember that for the last couple of weeks, as everyone's been talking about how Donald Trump wants this war completed by his inauguration, everyone thought, oh, what that means is he's going to put pressure on Netanyahu. Well, as that Truth Social post showed yesterday, no, he's putting pressure on the Palestinians. He's putting pressure on Hamas. give us our people back, and you go, you stand down immediately, or you're in big trouble. So I think, yeah, we are looking at an end to conflict, this particular conflict right now in the Middle East. But it's not because Donald Trump is telling Israel, a traditional American ally, to stand down. It's because he's willing to back American allies who need to get the job done and destroy adversaries, not only of Israel, but also of the United States.
Lee, what's going on in Syria? Should I care? Does it matter to me?
Yeah, it's important for a number of different reasons. One of the reasons that it's very important is because this whole setup, what you see here between this particular Kurdish group and these particular outfits aligned with the Assad forces and the Iran, this whole thing was set up by Barack Obama. So no, I don't think that the United States should be playing an active role in this. But while you see a lot of people saying, well, there are, no good guys on either side, that's true. But foreign policy isn't about good guys, right? We have allies. Most of our allies are good guys. But you don't have to have good guys involved to see that the American interest is better if Assad forces lose. But I'm not sure that we're even there right now at this point. I think that this is a strategic maneuver by the Turks, and I don't think it's the end of the Assad regime, as a lot of people are saying. And it's important to remember the Turks are a NATO member. They're an American ally. They're a very problematic American ally, but they are an American ally. And remember what Obama did here with this group aligned. With this Kurd group, it's again, there's so many different Kurdish factions. This particular Kurdish faction, it's a terror organization, the PKK. So what Barack Obama did was he enhanced the power of a Kurdish terror group while also putting Russia on NATO's southern border, right? Meaning Turkey. That's what Barack Obama did. He encouraged the Russians to go into Syria. So a lot of this right now, we're seeing Obama's compact in the Middle East falling apart, and it's a very good thing for it to be happening. And it will depend on Donald Trump to manage that outcome, to manage the fallout to the advantage of the United States. And I'm confident that he can, and that he's surrounding himself with very decent advisors who understand what's happening in the region.
Lee, my brother, thank you as always. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.